What's up, Fearless family? Hope you guys are doing awesome. So, I was just driving, and I wasn't paying attention, and I was in the Walmart parking lot, and I kind of drove out a little bit too far in the other part of the parking lot where this guy was coming by, and he looked like he was like, I don't know, in his 50s or something, but I turned, I wasn't going that fast, but I turned and I got out of his way. And whenever he drove by, he gave me this look right here. He went, hold on a second. He went like this. And you want to know what I did? I basically looked at him and I went, and I laughed because he looked like a goon. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys about something that is new for me. I'll be honest with you. I am a HSP, a highly sensitive person, and if you haven't studied HSPs, you need to, because you I'm not going to say you probably are one, but there's a good chance that you are one if you're dealing with prolonged depersonalization and derealization disorder, or any anxiety disorder for that matter. A highly sensitive person tends to internalize things more, and it's actually not always a bad thing. We're more sensitive to how people speak to us and look at us and all of those things, and we need highly sensitive people, and it's not a negative thing. This is like in the last year that I've been able to accept that I am an HSP and not see it as a negative thing, because a lot of people have tried to make it a negative thing, especially being a man, my wife and I always joke around, sensitive, but, we're supposed to be, super tough, and I am a tougher guy, but I'm also very sensitive. I'm sensitive to how people are feeling, to what they're thinking, and we need those types of people to make the world go around, but we have a proclivity as an HSP to internalize people's looks, their words, their actions, to the point where we basically obsessively think about it to the point where it's actually not healthy. And we take things personal whenever they're really not personal. And we let, I'll just say it, assholes, there's no other way to say it, we let assholes basically make us feel like we did something wrong. And we basically take the blame for things that really we didn't do wrong. So what I'm learning is that there are assholes in the world, and I don't typically like to cuss because I know there's a lot of people that they get sensitive about that. It's just words to me, but there's really no other way to say it except for assholes. There are assholes in the world that want to make you miserable because they're miserable, and they're going to try to make you feel like you did something wrong. That's what they love to do. And as a highly sensitive person, we have to learn to keep it out of ourselves. Like, imagine that there's like a force field around your whole body, and that whenever somebody says something to you or gives you a look, it has to pass through that force field first. And that force field is actually whenever we are basically questioning whether the person is just an asshole and they're the problem, or if we legitimately did or said something wrong. And this is new for me, guys. I'm telling you, I used to internalize everything. And as a highly sensitive person, sometimes somebody gives us a bad look or says something, and we're just like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Did I say something? Why did they think that way? And we just have this internal conversation that makes us anxious for sometimes weeks, months, sometimes it's forever. And whenever there's so many, I'll just say, a-holes in the world, it can be very easy to start feeling overwhelmed if you let all this stuff in. So you have to just keep it outside of you at first. You have to imagine there's a force field, and then whenever somebody gives you a bad look or says something mean or whatever, or tries to accuse you of something, you have to stop for a second and consider if maybe they're the problem. Don't assume that you're always the problem. Now, let's say that you did do something stupid. You did say something stupid. Well, then we need to admit that. We need to own up to it. And we need to take responsibility and apologize, take ownership, and try to find healing and move on. And, you know, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. But you just need to know that if you are a highly sensitive person, you're going to have a proclivity to assume that you did something wrong. So you have to set up these boundaries to be careful to not internalize everything, because that's going to make you very, very anxious. And just get on Google and search on highly sensitive person and read the attributes of how they tend to respond. And I'm telling you, it is me. Whenever I read that, I was like, oh, this explains everything. And don't see it as a negative thing. Being an HSP is actually a very positive thing. I'm not saying that everybody that is following me on YouTube is an HSP, but I can say that there is a good chance, because what tends to happen is we feel depersonalized, derealized, and we start to overreact to it. That's something that HSPs tend to do. We tend to overreact. We tend to read things into stuff that's not there, and we're more emotionally sensitive to things. So thus, whenever we feel these disconnected feelings, it has an emotional weight to us that it may not have to somebody else who's not an HSP. So that's, I think, sometimes why we develop these belief systems, such as, oh, I'm not trying to make fun. I did the same thing. I'm always going to have this. Oh, I saw somebody on a forum and they said that they had DPD for 30 years. That's going to be me. It's going to get worse. Oh, what if I'm dying? Oh my gosh. And listen, I did the same thing. No disrespect, but that is an HSP reaction to the uncomfortable feelings of DPD or DRD, depersonalization disorder, derealization disorder. So, again, whenever, this is a tip, whenever we have somebody like this asshole that tried to make me feel like I did something super wrong, I just moved out of the lane just a little bit too much. But he's like, and you know what I said? Man, forget that guy. Like, forget him. Like, he's stupid. He's an a-hole. There's a lot of them in this world. And it's like, what I did is I kept it outside of me and I didn't internalize it. So that's it. If you're not part of the Fearless family, make sure to subscribe and click the like if this helped you, and we'll talk to you guys soon.